Way with Words, and this is my first video on this channel. What you're looking at is a visual representation of what I will be talking about in this video for current year. I am an adjacent member of the planning community, meaning I have been consuming a lot of creative planning content over the years. And there's always been a nudge, well, not always, but there's been quite a while. I've been having a nudge for quite a while to be more participatory in a way where I'm sharing how I do things, not necessarily to the level that you see other YouTubers, planning YouTubers, contribute. But anyhow, I wanted to start this channel, like I said, just because I wanted to add my voice to the hundreds, if not thousands of voices there are out there, because everybody does things in a unique way. And I just wanted to add to that. So while I will not be going through how I currently plan or journal in this particular video, I wanted to take you on a journey with me, looking back at how I have journaled throughout the years. And it's going to be a big hodgepodge of ways that I've done that in the past. So, like I said, right now you're looking at what I do, a part of my current system. This planner right here, it is an actual planner. I apologize, I will not be opening this for this video because I can get sidetracked too easily. But this is where I do most of my micro journaling and a little bit of planning, if you will. So when it comes time for that video, I will get more into detail and show you what that system looks like. But I did want to show kind of like my style. As you can tell, purple is my jam. So different shades of purple, lavender, what I would call plum. And then this planner is, or excuse me, notebook is basically me jotting down the things that actually happens. So I'm not one to say, okay, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, these are the things that have to get done. I instead write down what actually gets done and then I decorate around it, or I will decorate first and then fill it in later. And it doesn't always get filled out. So that's my current system, a part of it. Just wanted to share that with you. And I'm just going to go ahead full force and take you down memory lane with me. So what you're looking at right now is, I would say, how this whole thing got started. I received this diary that had a locket that used to work from my grandmother for Christmas. And I've taken a liberty to flag the pages that I feel most comfortable sharing, because at the time of writing the stuff in yesteryears, of course, I never imagined that I would be sharing it with the potential of dozens of strangers. And so I just obviously flagged what I felt comfortable sharing. And I'm just going to go ahead and get it cracking, open it up. So right here, I find this, let me see, make sure you all are with me. Yep. I find this to be incredibly interesting, or funny rather. I do have my full government name here. I don't feel comfortable sharing that yet, so I went ahead and just put some post-its on there. I don't mind having my grandmother's name here. And it's so crazy because I didn't call her grandmother, I called her granny. So anyhow, I put down the date that I received it and obviously who it's from. Then I gave a warning to whoever got a hold of this, like they were really going to listen to me, but I was very serious because you can see the highlight here and where I said I'm not kidding. I don't know what this is. I found when I was flipping through here, I saw some random stuff. I think maybe I was testing out how to do block letters. That's the best I can come up with for you. But anyhow, I am going to flip to, I think this is this is the first, or the one of two pages that I want to share with you. So as you can see, I did some semblance of dating. I don't know what month this is, but here is an entry where I remember what this entry was supposed to be about, but obviously I never came back to it. So anyhow, we were traveling. We were going to Georgia, and me, my mom, and my sister, and we got in a, I won't say it was bad because we didn't get injured. The car was probably totaled at that point, but we got in an accident. It was a single car accident, and I was going to write about it here. I don't have too many memories except for I remember, I think my mom told me in my adult years when I asked that our tire, it popped while she was driving. She probably was driving fast. And then we spun around in the median. I definitely remember that. I don't think I had ever been on a roller coaster ride at that point, but in my mind, that's what a roller coaster ride would have felt like. So it was pretty traumatic. That's what I can say about it. It was traumatic. I remember having this fear that the car was going to blow up if we didn't get away from it. But obviously we escaped unscathed. It was more we were shook up. So then moving on to this entry, this is, okay. So one of the things I found that was a common thing, which I already knew before I started going through my journals, is that I was boy crazy. So a lot of what these entries are from the time I was a child going into my adulthood was about boys. I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, this entry, the reason why I flagged this one is there are nicknames and initials, so I didn't feel too embarrassed about sharing it. But anyway, I don't know if you can read it, but it says, "Dear Diary, I have a feeling CW likes me. Guess what? CW said you, meaning me, should have been Sinclair, and she, Fifi, should have been Regine." That was my best way of spelling Regine. I don't even know if it's coming through clear on the camera. He was Overton, and Overton likes Sinclair. So just a little bit of background on that. If you're not familiar with a show called Living Single, it is what the title implies. There are some singles living in New York City, and since I had a crush on CW, let me take a step back. There was a group of people, I don't even know if I want to call us friends, but there were a group of people who we were social with one another, and we all were assigned certain characters, if you will. And for whatever reason, I was given Regine. So Regine was the bougie girl, which, you know what? I mean, I guess it's true, because as you'll see in other videos, I do kind of like accept that title to some degree. But anyhow, long story short, Sinclair and Overton, they eventually got together, but they were like doing this little flirty thing, and he was basically saying he would have rather me have been Sinclair than Regine. So that's all that was. Moving on to the, oh my gosh, okay. Again, okay, so I have the month, but I don't know the year. So this is my uncle that I'm talking about. I have no idea what he did. It pissed me off, but I said I didn't like him. And then I flagged this one because I did not remember this until I saw this entry. So this was talking about a talk show that I saw. And it says, "Today while we were looking at Rolanda, the new version of Little Rascals." I didn't finish that sentence. I guess I should have said came out. And then an agent gave some advice to get a start for showbiz. That is tremendous. So the story behind that is, even though I was a shy child, for whatever reason, looking at that episode of that talk show made me think that I wanted to do show business. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. Like, I know as a full-bodied adult that is not something that I would have wanted to do as a child. But I just remember that episode having such an impact on me to the point where I wrote it down, and I wouldn't be surprised if I said something to my mom about it, like trying to get me, figure out how to get me into the industry. But yeah, there's that. So moving on to the next thing. Okay, here is the next item up for you all to take a gander at. This is a composition notebook. This was my choice at the end of college, going into young adulthood. And okay, so I'm going to have to pick another recording schedule because my house can be a little loud from time to time. I have a young daughter and she's a loud one. So you might hear bumps and laughter and talking. But I will say this, I am not going to be apologetic for household noises. So if they come through, they come through. It is what it is. As long as you all can hear me, I figure that's good enough. So anyhow, what I wanted to explain is what you see here, which I think is coming through okay. This means Delta, known as number 18 hard copy. So I didn't give a proper introduction to myself at the start of this video because it really wasn't for me to do this whole long drawn out introduction. I will eventually have a video where you'll get to know me a little bit more from a intentional perspective. But anyhow, this is my line number, and then this is my line name when I pledged. So that's that. I picked this, well, I wanted to show how I was journaling for one, and then also what I flagged here. I got a little bit of a preview because I recorded another clip, but I realized it wasn't recording. So anyway, what I want to show you, which I'm about to use the second composition notebook to cover it up because I realized that my spine is compromised if I try to fold it back on itself. So I'm just going to do a quick little switcheroo so you don't see an entry I don't want you to see because I didn't do proper covering. Okay. What I also did that I forgot about was write poetry, and I don't know what time frame I was doing that, but I really liked this poem when I read through it, and I'll just go ahead and read it. So, because you know, poetry should be read out loud, and so, I mean, you can read it too, but I'm going to go ahead and read what I have here. I will move it into frame properly as I go along. So, Love and Dust. This is in 2008, as you can see. Love is twisted, too fluid like a river of water. One thinks that she has found the path, and then an undiscovered trench appears, leading you to a different place. Now, out of your steady supply, you're left wondering where you will quench your thirst. Soon that need for water fades away because you find that your breath has disappeared as well. Now you're trying your best to engulf as much air as possible, but it's to no avail. Opening your mouth and breathing in turns up no results, except for the dust that is in the place of the air. It has consumed your lungs, much in the same way love once did. Now, if only two elements, dust and love, were the same. When I was reading it just now, I wasn't capturing, like I wasn't listening to what I was actually saying, but I remember not what inspired me, but I know what I was trying to evoke with that. So it must have been a time in my life when I really wanted to be in a relationship and it just seemed to be elusive to me. And I was comparing, or not comparing, but using love and dust as metaphor. Well, love is the true thing, and then dust. Obviously, I'm not breathing dust, but it was a metaphor for coming up short. So I don't know. When I read through it, I really liked the poem. And I was reading some other poems. Some were not that good, but that's going back to my channel name, Ashley's Way with Words. I did write poetry once upon a time, and that's just another way for me to talk about, you know, my way with words. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to this page. Let me make sure it's not, okay, so we don't have anything. I hope you all can't read over here. You know what? Let me fix this just like that. So I also documented things, which this is kind of cool. So this was on January 1st, 2013, and I'm just talking about what actually happened that day. So I slept through New Year's midnight when it turned the new year. when I read this book, second bullet point, I misread it the first time. I was like, what in the world is going on here? But I read it again and I remember this happening. So anyway, it says, I woke up when I felt a presence knock on my thigh and said, wake up. It was a female voice, probably because I read Feast of All Saints before drifting to sleep and it affected my dream. Then I'm just going to go on and I'm going to come back to that. Then it also says that I tuned into MSNBC all day following the fiscal cliff bill and whether or not the House would pass the bill crafted by the Senate the previous night. Then I also created a new Pinterest account for the purpose of organizing what my style tastes are for 2013. And then I was talking about work here where it says I was not excited or ready to go back to insert agency next Monday for a pre-audit. So going back to this bullet point right here, I feel like this was kind of like a supernatural, I was going to say premonition at first, but supernatural thing. And what I was trying to say by putting it in parentheses, like this is exactly what happened. It was a female voice, but I equated it to reading Feast of All Saints when that may or may not have had anything to do with it. But I don't have any recollection of anything happening shortly after that. But when I read it again, I was reminded, like, I do remember feeling an essence or something. And this may freak some people out, but this is what I had in my journal. So here we are. But I do remember it. So thought it was interesting to highlight. It's not usual. Okay. Then here is another interesting repository for journaling my thoughts. One of the things that I did not say is that I would typically go, like when you go to TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Home Goods and if you're interested in stationery, things like that, you will, people in this community, I'm sure you can relate. You will grab stuff that catches your eye and you find interesting. So the reason why I pulled out this notebook, which to be honest with you, I haven't filled it out. I can just go ahead and open it up. I maybe did a couple entries. I have some stuff here where I took some notes, apparently using this pen back then. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's a Pilot. Interesting. And it wasn't capped, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't write right now. But that's not why we're here. So I wanted to show this one because I learned back in 2011 that this is not my preference for identifying when I made a journal entry. So again, like it's the whole, I have to put the year. I found it interesting when I first got it. This is what made me buy it, to be honest with you, because I'm not enticed by back then, I'm pretty sure I would not have been moved by this paper. Then again, I probably would have. But this aesthetic, this is not cute to me. But banana papers, I'm sure that's what caught my eye. And then I was like, oh, this is cool to do that. Because as you can see, over the years, I would have to write everything down. I was like, oh, okay, all I have to do is just circle stuff. And then me still being me, I still wanted to put the time. So this was just a letter that I had penned. I don't think I delivered it to the recipient, but I like that I have it here so I can see what my thoughts were at that time. And of course I had to cover it up because it is confidential, personal to me. But the most important thing I wanted to show about this particular notebook is that I learned that I don't like this. That wasn't my jam. So that is that one. This next one I have in the stack. Oh, I almost didn't show this. So this is just a basic one subject notebook from Staples. And I didn't have the flag in here, quite honestly, because it's another thing that I did not keep up with. However, I wish I did. And what I want to point out, because again, it is confidential, is what I chose to start using it for. It was to analog text message exchanges, because if you know me, I don't like to throw anything away, whether it is digital or physical in nature. Like I always have this fear I'm going to need it, or I need to prove my point to someone. So I started writing down text message threads. And I kind of wish I had kept it up, but to be honest with you, that was a very tedious thing to do. But yeah, I just wanted to show, I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. I just wanted to show that I was analoging a text message thread. Continuing on with my planner journey or journal throughout the years is this appointment book that I received as a result of working as a federal contractor. In this, I did more than just, logged meetings, notes, and things like that throughout the day. I use this for personal record keeping, if you will. So, true to form, I have my page flag here. Trying to make sure I open up to the right page. I did not, so there we go. All right. I am not going to read everything to you all. I will just give you a quick synopsis. It is written in pencil. I am not sure if it is coming through in the if you all can read this, but anyhow, what I would log down here would be my outfit for the day, anything that I thought was noteworthy of writing. So I will kind of pick and choose some things to say. So on Tuesday, May 15th, I talked about how I was watching a program and also some professional related stuff where I posted my resume on Monster. Oh my gosh. That is so old school. I didn't log my outfit for the day, for that particular day, but I did on this day. And then I had more follow-ups talking about 3 voicemails that were waiting on me regarding job interviews. And this side is more filled out. So the top part is probably more so geared towards what happened throughout my workday, potentially. And then the rest of it is just personal stuff. So, I mean, like I said, I went through this before I started recording just to block out those things that I did not want to share. So that sums it up for the types of things and how I use the types of things that I recorded and how I used this appointment book at that time. Then I have this thing right here. So this is going, let me see. I think that's okay. All right, so this is one of those random finds I discovered when I was shopping at TJ Maxx or Marshall's or something like that. So this notebook is messed up. The string used to confuse the hell out of me. So I would refrain from like totally unwinding it. But now, since I've had it for so long, I definitely don't use it these days. And it's all stretched out, not from use, but just from being stored for so long. But it's such a cool, I don't know. Well, I discovered that it was a planner, but it's different. So I have to be careful, but it's kind of like an accordion style. So it opens out like that. So I thought it was pretty neat. I don't know where I got this from. I don't think there's anything to tell me where I got it from either, but I do have my pages flagged for what I feel comfortable sharing. So obviously it doesn't give you a whole lot of space on the side to jot down stuff by the day, but you could, put down things you needed to do throughout the course of the week. So, yeah, I have some stuff down here about my social life when I was living in the DMV area, DMV being DC, Maryland, Virginia. And then more of the same. So not a whole lot of stuff here, just some things that I use this for. Oh, let's see if we can get this on. Nope, just gonna put this to the side. Hang in with me. We're almost through some of the stuff that I use, because I know this isn't everything. This is just what I was able to find when I decided to do this video. So then I have this, again, this was just another cute item that I picked up when I was out and about. And I'm just going to open it up to the first page because I was almost like, okay, where are the tabs? But I remember what I used this for. And I think it's quite interesting to see my mindset. One of the things that I enjoy about going and preserving this stuff and keeping it around is I get to see who I was at a different time in my life. But I will say that, you know, I've already talked about how once upon a time I was just, you know, really wanting to be in a relationship. And this is something that I came up with through experience, through having conversations with people. And I read through these dating guidelines that I had for myself. And to be honest with you, I don't think they can steer anyone wrong. There we go. I'm not going to read them, but I do think that they are worthwhile. And I enjoy coming across this notebook where I logged this information to help myself. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all know, because I didn't do a proper introduction. I am married, happily married, and I have a family. So I'm not saying that my dating guidelines is what got me there, but just so, since it seems to be a recurring theme, I did want to speak to the fact that there was a happy ending for all of that stuff I was pining for once upon a time. So anyway, now we're moving into notebooks that I had. This is the last part of this series. Notebooks that I had, and they were so special to me, and I could not find a use for them, and they have just sat around and gone unused. So the first one is my Delta notebook. I'm pretty sure I got this from when I was active in a chapter. And like I said, I never really found a good use for it. But, well, I jotted a couple things down, but I didn't make good use of it. So I just wanted to share it because I am a Delta and I do have my Delta notebook. I have more, but I just didn't come across those while I was looking in the boxes that I knew had journals and things like that. So this is a notebook special to me, my Delta notebook. Then I'm going to pull out these two discoveries because they were packed down together, and I completely forgot that I had these, and I have a little bit of a story time behind it. Okay. Part of what how I have not introduced myself once again is I love butterflies. I have ever since. I particularly remember incorporating it into my email handles when I was in high school, beginning of high school, probably right before high school. But anyhow, I have these two notebooks that have butterflies on them. I don't remember how I came across this one. I don't remember if I purchased this one or if someone gifted to me. I don't think I did. Oh, so I jotted down my dating guidelines here, but then I transferred them over to that other notebook, the last notebook that we just saw. So this one is near and dear to my heart. I mean, I don't know. It's probably going to be packed back down because I don't know how to use it, but it was a good find. This one has a story behind it. If I had not come across this journal, I would not have remembered that it was gifted to me. So when I used to work at an agency, the people who I work with, they chipped in together and purchased this lovely journal for me as a going away gift, and it's personalized. And I did jot some things down in here, but it's really special to me. And I also received a matching pen, which I remember stopped working. It was a lavender pen with a butterfly, and it was personalized as well. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. And upon discovering it, the way that I had packed it down, I messed my journal up. I had these two packed down together, and what I did was I had this one, it was packed like this, and then I taped it up so that way the bookmarks wouldn't dangle, and I taped it up, and when I did that, it messed up my beautiful, beautiful journal. Yeah, it's in frame. And I'm not devastated because it doesn't compromise the front of it or whatnot. It is crumbling. You can see remnants of the material having been destroyed by the tape that I used. Because anyway, I didn't know how to preserve it and I messed it up. But yeah, I just wanted to share this one. So like I said, I would not have remembered that this was gifted to me. That was a very thoughtful gift for the people who I work with to hand that over to me. And then to finally conclude this this video, I also have this one. So I'm pretty sure I picked this up from Target. I did not look in this one thoroughly enough to see if I started writing anything in it, but I have this one here for me to do something with. Fill it out when I feel inclined to do so. And it's, your typical prompt journal. I'm just flipping through to see, had I ever filled anything out? Nope, I did not. So I'm sure this was an impulse buy. Let's see what years were here. So around the end of the 2019, the 2010s going into the 2020s. So not too long ago. But yeah, I guess just about roughly 5 years ago. So it is kind of old. But anyhow, that concludes my journey through the years regarding how I logged my thoughts. And I will provide more insight into who I am as a person as I learn how to record and edit videos and get them loaded. But like I said, during the first portion of this video, I definitely wanted to add my voice to the hundreds of voices that are out there, the brave men and women who share their journaling and planning, creativity through journaling and planning. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed going on this ride with me, and hope to have a video up for you all in the near future. Thanks.